This segment is sponsored by Our Home Magazine.
She's featured in the current issue of Our Home Magazine. We're talking today with Sheila Gunst, an interior designer who has turned her focus to an unusual medium, shipping containers, and making these livable spaces. Sheila, it's so nice to talk with you.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
It's absolutely our pleasure. You know, we're hearing more about this, but it's still incredibly innovative. This is something you've been doing for around a decade now. But how do you go into taking a shipping container and making this a livable space?
Well, I've been thinking about it for about a decade, but our first one that we actually built, we did a couple of years ago. And it's a very interesting concept because you can take something that's very specific in terms of its size and its shape and not really becoming it for a lot of people in terms of a living space. And I think the challenge is to be able to convert that unit into something that people can live in or work in or eat in. And so we do that with certainly, I hope, good interior design and then the right finishes and materials and style that will create something that somebody likes.
It's absolutely incredible, the examples that we're seeing of the work and the projects that you have tackled. And putting something like this together, you've developed a company now. Of course, we mentioned you're an interior designer, SPG design consultant, and now you have Rustic Global. So you've built a company out of this in partnership with your son.
Exactly. Our goal was to start out small, sort of test not only the market, but also our ability to do this and to do it right. And now we're really ready to get going. We have one currently under construction that is going to be very exciting for people to see, I think.
I'm going to ask you a super simple question that I feel like you probably get pretty often. It would be, why shipping containers? Why this? Why would you bother entering into that?
Well, you know, I find them just to be a very interesting product. First of all, they are built for something totally different. Many are used for a number of years, shipping materials all around the world, which is partly why we have Rustic Global. And they are sitting there, really, just sitting there dying at ports, rusting out. And, you know, it's done a lot around the world. This is not a new concept at all. But I've always just been interested when I've seen them, how people could take them and convert them into something. And I love the idea of being able to take something that's really going to be thrown away and reusing it and creating a new use for it. So there's that part of it. And then there's the extremely exciting challenge of you have given things to work with and how can I make it so different and so interesting that people won't even think it's a shipping container. So that's kind of how we got to it.
Well, as you see these examples, it's hard to believe it was anything but what you've created them to be, right? And you mentioned folks are living in them, playing in them, you know, taking them out and making them almost an escape space. And there's something that's really a growing trend, this ADU, that alternative dwelling unit, where we're looking to create living space maybe on our properties, and they're great for that application.
Absolutely, because they are small, so some people call them a tiny house. They are, and in that respect they are, but the thing that's different is that you can put 2 or 3 together, or 5 or 10, and they're no longer tiny houses. But you can start small, they'll fit on a small property, and they're great for a rental or a mother-in-law suite, or that child who came home from college and needs a place to live. So they're great, and they're also expandable. So you can start with one and plan that you're going to add 2 and, you know, design it that way. So I think in today's world, that use is going to be very, very popular.
That kind of versatility is incredible because you really can put into use of, we'll see how it goes. We'll start with this and then continue to expand.
Right.
You mentioned the company obviously is Rustic Global, so we're all over the world. You're Midlothian based. Are we seeing these in high use around this area? Where are they in super high demand?
They are not in high use in this area yet, but that's part of our goal too. I would say the one place that you could see them the most in the Richmond area is at the Chesterfield Mall. There's a restaurant there that is made of shipping containers. And for me, that's very exciting to see it. And then there are a few individuals who are doing something maybe for themselves. So I think we are the only company in this area that's actually wanting to build these for other people.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I could talk with you all day. We're about out of time, but we want to encourage everyone to pick up that current issue of Our Home magazine. They can learn more. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And congratulations on the huge endeavor. This is a big one to take on.
It is, but it's fun.
That's terrific. We'll be our pleasure. We'll be sure to share more information on WTVR.com/VTM so you can learn more about the incredible projects Rustic Global is tackling.
For more information on Rustic Global, you can give them a call at 804-240-8736 or find them online at rusticglobal.com. Find Our Home Magazine on newsstands today or subscribe at richmondmagazine.com/home. And you can find them on Facebook at Our Home Magazine and on Instagram at Our Home Mag. Jess, how cool was that? That is so amazing.
I know. I could have talked with Sheila all day long because I just wanted to say, so what did you do with this one? So what about that one? I mean, okay. She shed, like, I was drooling. I just really wanted to be like, Sheila, why don't you bring one over? We could do the interview there. Like, let's see about this.
Was that, are you talking to us or are you talking to your husband at that point?
Anyone who will listen. Anyone who will listen.
All right, so I have a question.
So cool. Yeah.
Did you, obviously you did the interview, but you have to talk a little before and a little after. Did you get a chance to ask her? Because there was one looked like it had a painted white brick wall. Was that like wallpaper or that like stuff that has a feel to it? Because it really, I know they didn't take up another 2 or 3 inches to put bricks in there. So did you find out what that was or did that not even come up?
Now, again, you know how I love to offer theories about things. We did not talk about that specific detail, but I do know that in the design world, you can get, I'm not going to call it the right thing, but it's like a texture that you can put that instead of being like the width of a brick, you know, maybe it's just a veneer, like brick veneer, veneer to give it that feel.
It looked really cool. It looked really cool.
The biggest thing too, Sheila, we started talking about it, and that's what I could talk all day long, is this whole like tiny house factor or the ADU, that alternative dwelling unit, how, you know, you can get one of these and make it the in-law or outlaw suite, or, you know, your she shed or whatever it is that's on the property and have it there. But you do have to check, you know, certainly with your locality, with your county to see if it's permitted to be able to do that. But I mean, that's ready made.
Yeah. And you can plan ahead. Like she said, if you know, you can have a plan like, okay, I'm going to add one over here in 5 years. One really cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And just so neat. One of the applications too was for like a man cave or a you know, a fella's cabin or whatever. I guess if you had a space and property but needed to get, you know, the ADU out there, just like a little getaway or shelter, it'd be perfect for that.
Yeah. All right.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. The backyard's waiting. Bring them on over.
That's right. Stay right here, friends. We'll be right back with more Virginia This Morning on the other side of this break.